Today, I sit down with a man who refuses to be put into a box. He's an enigma in some ways. He's conservative, but he's also a rock star. He's country, yet he's hip-hop. He loves Jesus, but he drops the F-bomb whenever he wants to. He is whoever he wants to be, and in that way, he is a red-blooded, old-fashioned American hero. I mean, he's a cowboy, except he's not a cowboy. He's from Detroit. He does not comply to any kind of tyranny in any way. He won't be politically correct, and he's not going to stop loving his country, even when it's unpopular and it costs him friends or even audience. We get into everything today, from the rodeo to rock and roll to his plans to bring his liberal friend Bill Maher to someplace you would least expect. And we also talk about Elon Musk and AI. Please welcome the original American badass, Kid Rock. Before we get into Kid and the interview, let me just tell you right now, the average American is still finding it difficult to pay expenses every single month. In some cases, there's nothing left over to cover any extras. And I don't have to tell you this. You might be even one of those people. And you are going to feel trapped if you don't already. I remember several times in my life just not being able to cover everything, and juggling. It can be so hard to manage emotionally, financially, and I'm an avoider. I just would avoid as much as I can, or you grab the credit cards. If you are a homeowner and you are frustrated with that endless cycle that only produces more debt, please take 10 minutes today and give a call to American Financing. If you're constantly carrying that credit card balance each and every month with an interest rate that's in the 20s or even 30s, American Financing can show you how to put your hard-earned equity to work and get you out of debt. They're salary-based mortgage consultants. They don't work for the bank, they work for you, and they're saving customers an average of $800 a month. Could be you. $10,000 raise would be an awful lot, and you don't have to do anything for that raise except call American Financing. Call them now, 800-906-2440, or go to AmericanFinancing.net. That's AmericanFinancing.net, 800-906-2440. How are you?
Good. Nice to see you, Glenn.
Yeah, nice to see you. I have to tell you, I don't get nervous for interviews or anything, but you're a cool kid, and I've never been the cool kid. I feel like I'm going to be sitting in the lunchroom, and I'm about to be beaten up.
No, you got me pegged wrong. I'm not the cool kid.
Yeah. Well, you are now. I mean, you have been off and on, obviously.
Arguably.
With half the country.
With half the country.
What's the other half? Like, have you lost a lot? Has this cost you anything?
No.
Friends?
I was talking to a friend about it. No, I kind of, not really. Not really. It's I mean, I'm just an honest person. I love my country. That's kind of how simple it is. But so it wasn't really, it came to a point where it wasn't, once you've seen behind the curtain in this business,
I know.
It's just freaking awful.
Yeah.
It's disgusting, and just didn't want to play that game, with the awards and this, that, and the other, and the politics involved with this and that, and the radio and all that. And I'd say for a rainy day, that definitely was a factor in things.
Yeah.
Where, and I just, I've always said I don't give a F, and that's very true in a lot of ways, but it's kind of thin. Thin things out. I'm sorry, to make the point was, for your question was, it's like, you do something, and your friends, you get this group of friends that kind of turns their back on you.
Yeah.
You're like, perfect. I just weeded out the idiots.
Right.
You know what I mean? It makes life so much better.
Yeah.
Because I can talk to anybody from any side of whatever. If they're a little bit reasonable, just be a little bit reasonable. I can sit down and talk to anyone.
Because you have done everything with everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Sheryl Crow is not necessarily one that jumps to the mind.
We don't talk a lot these days, come to think of it.
Yeah, okay. That makes sense. So we're here at, because you're starting something with PBR and the rodeo.
Yeah, Kid Rock's Rock N Rodeo.
So, I mean, you grew up in Detroit. There are not a lot of rodeos in Detroit.
No, zero.
The Motown rodeo, I don't think happened.
I like the ring of that, though.
What?
I grew up north of Detroit. we had 6 acres, and a couple horses, beautiful home, beautiful spread and all that. But so no, it was far from growing up as a cowboy or rodeo. Although, my parents were into that stuff,
Yeah.
They used to go like to watch this fiddle player, Sneaky Pete, this little dirt floor place. And, Dad liked to ride his horse and things like that. But no, nothing like this. It wasn't until probably 25 years ago when I started performing at high levels and started doing rodeos. There's Cheyenne Rodeo and rodeos in Canada, Calgary, and of course the Houston Rodeo, and so I was like, man, it's kind of cool. It's kind of badass.
Yeah.
And just
First time you go to a rodeo, I remember I was on CNN and I used to call myself a rodeo clown. I'm just a rodeo clown. Until I got the president of the Rodeo Clown Association wrote to me and said, do you know what rodeo clowns do? And I'm like, okay, you're right. I mean, it is really badass, to use your language.
It is. It's it's one of the toughest sports, and I don't mean tough like UFC tough.
Right.
I mean like cowboys and that whole lifestyle, cowgirls. They're just tough people. Just the way they live, they work so hard. The way they raise their families, the way they love this country. To me, that's tough.
It's weird because I think we were on the verge of absolutely flushing all of it away. And there's this renaissance that is going on. I grew up in the West, and there's something about those mountains that when you get to the mountains, which one am I? Am I going to be the one in the wagon train that actually crossed those, or am I going to be like, I'm out? There's something about the West that is American, unlike any other place.
Yeah, I think we've seen it in so many picture books and so many different things. It's kind of embedded in our culture, and America owns that. Cowboy culture.
Yeah,
you think it's the greatest movies, it's the greatest tales. Whether it's campfire sing-alongs or cowboys and Indians, whatever it is. It's just I just arguably tough. Just the coolest American thing ever.
I was here.
Rock and roll, give it a good run, but you know.
It comes back down to this, though. The independent spirit of rock and roll comes from the cowboy.
And I think you just summed it up there, the independent spirit of a cowboy.
Yeah.
That's really, that is independence and freedom. Like the open range, everything with it, a gun on your side. Like, hey, you get out of line and you're really wrong, you just get shot. We're not going to have a big meeting about it with a bunch of guys with white hair on and like this thing's like, no, you're just being an idiot and you're an asshole, and boom.
Did you watch Yellowstone?
I did.
That is what I think everybody.
Oh, that had a ton to do with it.
Oh, everybody was looking at Yellowstone that that critics from back east, whatever, that just didn't understand it, and what it was we're living in a time where the bad guys don't pay. It doesn't seem like anybody who's connected, pays for anything, and there's no common sense, and that's what it was. I think the Yellowstone secret was. Boom.
And we got to
Sorry.
thank that guy Taylor Sheridan, because now it's like pretty much half the country. I guess we call them as divided as things are. It's like half the country, the girls they're all just dressing up as sexy cowgirls now. I got no problem with that.
No, I got to tell you, women.
It's better than the blue hair and the big nose ring and the black goth dress. Where you're like, whoa.
Hey, don't say I don't look good. I used to be a man. I look really great. There's nothing sexier than a woman on the horse with the flag going around and riding around.
1,000%. I've said that a million times.
It is the most beautiful.
It is.
It's
beautiful.
It is.
Beautiful.
It really is. So Generation X was really responsible in many ways for Trump's win. You had a big part of that. What is it about Generation X?
Which one is that again? The younger one?
No, that's the after 60, born 65.
Oh, okay. The older one.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Not
all
the
those
old
things.
one. Not the old one. You're Generation X.
So my generation.
Your generation. Yeah.
Got to use layman's terms with me, Glenn.
Yeah.
You start confusing me with
Right.
the big words and terms.
So X, what is the? Is there something different about that generation, our generation?
I think we just the way I grew up was you into dumb stuff. You got your buddies and your bikes at the gravel pit, and you're like, which one's going to go first?
Yeah.
Go down this huge hill with no helmet on, and yeah, somebody broke their arm or got hurt, this, that, and the other. And it's such a conundrum, especially, having raised a son and having a couple grandkids now. It's like, I get it, wearing a helmet. But you're like, man, you got to get some bumps and bruises at the same time. But God forbid something happened to your child or their friend that was horrible. You're like, you're caught in this, I call it kind of, I don't know how else to say it, but the pussification of America.
Exactly right. That's exactly how I describe it.
Yeah, well, that's what it seemed like it was. I mean, I'm sitting there watching Trump's speech last night, and somehow it came into my head, like, what if George Washington was sitting here listening to this? Or like one of our forefathers. And I'm like, can you believe these mofos would be like, I mean, he's like, and there are only two genders, male and female. And George Washington's like, the hell has been going on here? Are you kidding me? What are you guys talking about right now? Talking about advancing America and making a great society and living free. And he's like, hey, there's only men and women. And half the crowd's like, nah. You're like, this shit is going on, man. This is bananas.
I know. And you don't have to go to George Washington. You could go to George W. Bush back in the day. And say that.
He was probably sitting at home laughing along with, like, are you kidding me? We actually have to say this like in a big speech.
What the hell what is wrong with, you saw him last night. What are they thinking?
And they always just look weird to me, like these far left people. They just look like people you don't
tell.
like.
I mean, I hate to say this, but you can tell. I can usually tell by the glasses they're wearing.
Yeah, red frames. You're like, far left idiot.
Yeah.
Like, I hate to stereotype people, but it's so freaking fun. So honest, too, half the time. But, yeah, you can literally, I was talking with a buddy last night. You can kind of see people. They just look miserable. Like, everyone's not pretty. I get that. I look like freaking Brad Armpit. I get it. But, you know what I mean? It's something about, and I'm not talking their physical looks, just something how they look. They look miserable. And it's not just now because they lost and they got to take a whooping from the principal and like get one of these. It's just they've always just looked kind of. I mean,
I think they are miserable.
Women protesting outside of abortion centers, like no one's sleeping with you. Like, what are you doing? Like, who are you protesting for? Like, have you looked in the mirror? And it's not your physical looks; it's just everything about your aura. Like, yeah, you're just miserable. You're just a man hater.
It's the opposite of the girl with the flag on the horse.
Complete opposite.
I was talking about it today. Imagine not being able to clap for the little boy who had brain surgery and brain cancer. Not being able to clap, actually saying, as Elizabeth Warren did, 5 more years of war.
I'm looking miserable.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But you're like, sir, ma'am, sir?
I actually have pity for them because I can't imagine living your life like that. What?
Trump derangement syndrome is real.
Crazy.
It's
I know.
Freaking real. You just saw it last night. This poor, just beautiful little boy with I didn't even know he had brain cancer when they first started.
Yeah.
Like, we're making him a FBI agent or a Secret Service guy or whatever, and this, that, and they're like, oh, man. And they say his brain cancer, like, oh, God bless him, And these people are sitting there like, nah.
I know.
What's the matter with you?
I know. Find no hope in that. Weren't you just golfing with Trump and Elon Musk?
Yeah, Sunday. Oh, Elon doesn't golf.
He doesn't golf.
He came out and hung with us like the last 3-4 holes or something. We're having a blast.
One thing is the age of the president. He's 78, and I don't think I could keep up with him.
I can hardly keep up with him. I'm the Energizer Go Bunny.
Yeah. I mean, what is that? Is that just genes? What is that?
I don't know, because God bless him, like, it's not from, like, eating the healthiest foods.
No.
God bless him. He's just, I mean, you couldn't pick an American out like bacon, eggs, sausage, Diet Coke. And, like, a few holes in, he's like, you want a Hershey's bar? I'm like, yeah. You want a Fanta? Then it's cheeseburger, fries. I'm like, this is...
Yeah, everything that RFK is going to say is bad, he does. Did you know him before, during the first term?
I met him. I endorsed him in Rolling Stone. Like, as soon as he came down that elevator, I'm like, boom, I want a business guy. Yeah. This dude, I don't care who somebody slept with or what they did, these little things that they just blow up your personal life. I'm like, I don't care if they're not like, doing weird stuff with kids or like killing people. I'm like, whatever, live your personal life. Like, the America of business has sucked for decades and decades. I'm like, let somebody who knows how to run a business get in there. So I endorsed him there. Didn't know him, but I was pretty vocal about it. Of course, took a ton of crap, which I like. I could care less. Like the last guy that's going to get upset, I'm the sticks and stones epitome.
Yeah.
And then Sarah Palin, I knew her a little bit, and the first couple months of him being in office, she got invited to dinner, and President told her to bring some interesting people. So she called me and Ted Nugent. And we went.
Two very interesting people.
I remember, having an awesome time at the White House, and it's just when you meet somebody and you could tell they're kind of cut from the same cloth.
Yeah.
Like, he's definitely got a rebellious spirit.
So what is it? What is it? Because you cannot relate to his kind of wealth. Elon the same way. You just cannot relate to that kind of wealth, and yet he's not what you think he is. He's just a regular guy.
I told a buddy yesterday, I'm like, I've got to spend a few times with Elon now. We text a little bit. Like, I'd say we're friends at this point. And I was like, I'm not even thinking about how much money this guy. To me, it looks like he doesn't have two nickels to rub together.
I know.
Like, he's just that dude. We're clowning about this new app he has, and we were making jokes at the UFC. And it's kind of the same with Trump. Of course, all the stuff you're around, you're like, wow. And I love that stuff. Because this whole Hollywood thing is always like, it's this cool Hollywood thing not to put a picture of yourself in the house, not to have your awards up. And I'm like, I got my stuff everywhere. I'm absolutely proud of what I've done.
Right.
You know what I mean? I walk into his stuff, I'm like, oh, awesome. He's got him everywhere.
Have you seen over, I think it's in the bar of Mar-a-Lago, he's got the
upstairs?
Picture on the main floor, he's got the picture of him with the tennis racket. He looks like 25 years old.
So good.
I'm like, I don't think you ever really played tennis, but I love the idea.
So good. It's just fun, I don't think people get sometimes, like, same with me. Sometimes I'm doing stuff, I'm like, and people are laughing at me. They don't realize I'm laughing harder at myself than you're laughing.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just having a blast and having fun.
And
there's a fine, there's a fine line there with some of it, but we're just kind of cut from the same cloth on a lot of things. And Tucker Carlson said it. He introduced me at this show, our first year of this festival I do called Rock the Country. And he said one of the most poignant things I've ever heard. He was describing, like, what does a real American look like? And he's describing me to intro me, and he goes, he would be both disobedient but decent. Mm-hmm. I was like, boom, I love that.
I was watching the speech last night, and Trump may have used the word revolution, but it struck me as I'm watching, I thought, this is a revolution without any bloodshed. This is, and I don't think people really understand that yet. Everything is changing. Everything is changing.
It's cultural revolution number one.
Yeah.
And that really spills over into politics.
So do you think that cultural revolution is lasting or real? We're only what, 6 weeks into it. Yeah. And so you're kind of like, okay, is this really going to last? Because we were so crazy. Literally, I think we lost our mind as a country.
Absolutely. There's no question.
But they're still crazy.
It's just that pendulum swings, and, like, does it have to keep swinging so far to each side?
Yeah.
I'd like it just to be like a little right over here.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be way up here, right? Just a little right over here. That'd be my personal preference. Yeah. But I just hope it doesn't go back and forth and we get in this, boom, where it's like, hey, is there
we can't survive as a country if we keep doing that.
No, we got to just remember we're all on the same team. We want the same things. We disagree on how to get there, and most reasonable people can have discussions and agree to disagree. It's the whole thing in the book. Find common ground, here and there, and just, okay. You're pro-union. Somebody had a bad experience with them here, and their boss was taking too much money, and it got corrupt. And you can have different points on many things, and still be rational and reasonable. It's just unreasonable people. Put their heads in guillotines at this point.
Okay.
There's that.
Just tell me Pam's not building any guillotines, Pam Bondi.
Yeah, she might be. I love Pam.
She might be. So weren't you just with Pam on Ticketmaster? Weren't you? You've been trying to.
I had dinner with her at Mar-a-Lago before she got sworn in, and it's not really. I mean, I've said this, like Ticketmaster, like they've been bad actors for years. If the DOJ takes them out and makes them sell their company, I will not shed a tear. It does not solve the problem of trying to get concert tickets into people's hands at the prices artists want to set because of the bots, the scalpers, the bad actors. And actually, the president just appointed Alina Habba to spearhead my ticketing thing, which is basically, there's several things to it. I won't bore you with them all, but the main thing is, and I'm a deregulation guy. I'm a capitalist through or through. There's no other way to do this. Have to do it like France did and a few other people. We need to cap the resale of tickets at like between 10 and 20%. Otherwise, American people are just getting screwed.
Yeah.
And you're just handing money to the bad actors, to the bots, the scalpers, this, that, and the other. And the American people, and I told the president, I go, look, this doesn't seem like a top line thing. I get it, but just hear me out. I go, what do people really want after? And this could be number one too. What do people really want after? To be safe and to, have a good economy, to be making money, to be able to take care of their families.
Yeah.
They want to have fun.
Yeah.
They want to have fun. Let's make America fun again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If we can get this done, you're going to be a hero because people are going to not have to decide whether to come to one of my shows or a family vacation.
Like, what is it? What is the difference that you see your tickets scalped for? What do your tickets go for, and then what do you see them scalped for?
You can't put them for what you want anymore.
What does that mean?
You can't put them, like if I think like, hey, I'm going to play for $100 ticket for these really good seats, then it's going to be $50, for the other ones, the higher seats, this, that, and the other. The bots and the scalpers are going to eat those all up, and those front ones are going to be anywhere from $500 to $2,500 to whatever they can get. They just put them out there. Those high ones, so now you have to do this, what do they call it, dynamic pricing.
Yeah.
So you're trying to cut the scalpers down because, hey, let's face it, like I said, I'm a capitalist. I'm not going to be a good guy and sell my tickets for, whatever, $20 and go make the scalpers millions of dollars.
Right.
No, if there's no other way to do it, I'm making the money and I'm going to take care of the people I want to take care of.
Right.
I've had a million ideas. Can we sell them like airline tickets? You don't get to resell your airline ticket. You turn it in. If you can't go, maybe, 48 hours before, you can turn it back into the system. There's all these different plans. We've been trying to solve this for decades. And literally the quickest way right now is to put a cap on the resale. And it's really bad in sports, but I'm not going to take on those guys yet.
So what is is it because, or is it just because of the scalpers, or does this have anything to do with, I remember when Michael Jackson went on tour and he was charging $19 a ticket. Remember for the Victory Tour? And everybody was like, I
didn't make that tour, Glenn.
Yeah, I know. But it was a big deal because his tickets were $19. And that was outrageous. I think the highest ticket up to that point was maybe 10. Mm-hmm. They just wanted to sell the albums.
I'm overpaid. I'll be the first one to say it. Trump's like, what'd you say? I'm like, I'm telling you, I'm overpaid.
Market value.
It's ridiculous. There's I've never had to ride around my windows tinted here and there because I've made an honest dollar off a working man's back, and I'm very proud of that. But at the same time, I'm like, the way the system's set up now, this is why managers who are now have really become record companies, which, by the way, Live Nation owns some of the management companies. They own the buildings. They sell the tickets.
Oh, yeah.
This, that, and the other is it's gotten so out of hand. There's just, the managers don't want to solve it because you're making more money than ever. It comes all about this thing. I'm like, there's enough money in here for everybody. There's so much money in this business. If I book this building, the promoter, the building owners, there's plenty of money for them to make.
Yeah.
The promoter of the show, there's plenty of them to make. There's plenty of money for us to make as a band. It's all right there. It's just ask anybody who's bought a concert ticket in the last decade and maybe 2 decades, and they'll tell you it's a freaking fiasco. It's garbage. You get in there. Now, there is a supply and demand thing that people got to understand. Yeah. If I'm going on tour and there's 300,000 tickets and 700,000 people want to go, certain people can't go.
Yeah.
But that shouldn't stop people. That shouldn't mean you have to pay.
But that's dynamic pricing. That's fine, right?
Well, the dynamic pricing is... You do dynamic pricing to certain levels. Like the front row is not worth this.
Right.
But
like,
I don't like to sell my front row.
But if you do dynamic pricing and you don't have the bots and the scalpers, then that's right. right?
Yeah,
Isn't
if
it?
you can only, then
Yeah.
then it will work.
Yeah,
Then you can
right.
if you can only sell it 10% over what you paid for it,
Right.
of the all-in pricing. That's the other thing it's on. The bill or whatever executive order is going to pass is like, you can't you can't buy $100 ticket and then you go to checkout and you're like, it's $165?
Yeah.
What happened?
Right.
It should all be very transparent.
Okay, what do people like Andre Botticelli, Steph Curry, Justin Bieber, and Tim Tebow all have in common? All of their mothers were encouraged to end the pregnancies. When a woman faces an unplanned pregnancy, she's often pressured to end her child's life. Can you imagine all of those people not being a part of our world? She wants to make the right choice, but society and those around her are telling her that's baby's not really a life. That's where the Ministry of Preborn steps in. Preborn and their network of clinics offers compassionate, loving care to moms, and they support them all the way through up to 2 years after the child is born. They start with a free ultrasound. Once a mom hears her child's heartbeat, she's twice as likely to choose life. If you consider yourself pro-life, it's time to join forces with Preborn. Join them together. We can empower women to choose life. Empowering the truth of motherhood transforms families and futures. One ultrasound is $28. $140 is going to help rescue 5 babies. If you donate monthly, you're going to receive stories and pictures of the lives you've helped save. Please dial pound 250. Say the keyword baby, pound 250, keyword baby, or make a donation by visiting preborn.com/Glenn. That's preborn.com/Glenn.
What is what's the business like now compared to when you first got in?
Oh, just as dirty and as evil. It's the most.
Why do you say it that way?
Oh, it's just full of scoundrels and scumbags, rip-off con artists. I mean, what business? Let's take a record company. What business? Basically, they give you a loan. Now, of course, they do promotion and artist development and things like that. But when you break it down to brass tacks, kind of giving you a loan. And then after that, they basically take 80% of everything you make. Like, what business can survive doing that? Now, there's a lot of money, and there's an argument. I like to argue both sides that, the artists go out and make the money touring, where the money's at the gate. That's where the big money is. And, the record companies usually don't share in that. They tried 2 years ago with these 360 deals. They didn't work. But, I mean, they were charging artists for years, like when records were out, certain percentage of those records would get broke in transit. Makes sense. So they had a 10% free goods clause, which means they charge an extra 10% because 10% of those records usually get broke. They kept that through digital. Half the contracts.
Wow.
I mean, just start there. Look at the black artists when they started. You know the tales there. Look at the payoffs. If you've ever read any of the books of the payola for radio, the way these award shows
do.
work, the Grammys and the
Yeah,
Oscars,
yeah.
they're such horse shit.
But you use the word evil, and when you said that, I think of P. Diddy. Is that real?
I have no idea. Never got
Do you
invited.
think it's real?
I think there was some. If I had to take an educated guess, there's some freaky stuff going on. Is freaky stuff illegal? No. Involve children? Screw you. If there's certain. I don't know.
That's the Epstein thing. I don't know if it's.
Yeah. When do we get to see that list?
Ask Pam.
I know. Let's
Ask
text her.
Pam. But you look at Epstein, you look at Diddy, and then you go to Pizzagate, and you're like, okay, they didn't have children in the basement of that pizza place, but there's something collectively, I think, in our universal mind that we're like, something's wrong. There's the marketing and selling of children for sex.
That is freaking disgusting.
It
Those
is.
people should be lined up and shot. Period. There should be nothing for there. We should go to medieval times on that, in my opinion. Pedophiles, no, there's just nothing there. I couldn't do enough evil things to the pedophiles. Let's put it that way. But the other stuff, you see a lot of people in business, this, that, and the other, especially when you're younger, starting out, everything's crazy. I got money and this, that, and the other, and things are wild, but I said from day one, I was like, you guys realize you get more girls if you treat them really nice. It's just kind of
Right.
like,
Right.
Yeah. I don't have to,
Yeah.
go to MIT to figure that out.
Yeah. The lifestyle, did you ever, I know you did cocaine, but that's not what others have done. Did you live that rock and roll lifestyle? And if so, how did you get out? How did you not?
I did, but I was very balanced. I was a single father. I had custody of my son since he was very, very young. I mean, he was dropped off on my doorstep at 6 months and was raising him. And then, of course, when I got some money, came back looking for,
Yeah.
So I pretty much had him the whole time, but had great help with his godmother, my sister, my mother. I mean, just great people. So that really balanced me out. I'd pick my windows and I'd be Mr. Rockstar. But then I had to drive to field trips and, and be dad a lot of time. That really helped me out the most.
So it's weird. I didn't know that you were Bob Ritchie. No idea. I always think of you, Kid Rock. Never thought Kid Rock was your
That's
name.
how I would like most people to see.
Yeah.
I'm trying to sell this American badass thing. Don't screw it up for me.
So can we go down that road for a minute, though?
We had to go to court the one time, and like these people are gonna have to get up there and testify. Like, he's a great guy. So I'm like, oh, I'm like, no. I'm actually making some money with this thing, man.
So is it hard to be one? I mean, there are times when you're like, I know. Are you always Bob Ritchie?
I'm Jekyll and Hyde, a little bit of both. And I rather enjoy being it. Sometimes I do when I'm screwing with people and just trying to get their panties in a bunch. I'm gonna post something online like, yeah, it's Kid Rock.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll point something real poignant, and that'll be from Bob Ritchie. And then
Yeah.
sometimes I'll post from both of them, and I've kind of enjoyed that.
Yeah, the video between Kid Rock and Bob Ritchie.
Oh, yeah,
after
for the-
president.
yep.
Yeah, was elected.
Exactly. That's pretty much me
Completely
right there.
two different people. Completely. So was that Kid Rock? Was that?
That was Kid Rock. Like, the media had been messing with me for how many years? He's just a washed up this, that, and the other. Meanwhile, I'm selling out every show, operating at the highest levels in this business. But, they're trying to create this thing because I love Trump, and any little thing I do. It's like yesterday, we got contacted by TMZ. Apparently, I was at this little redneck bar Sunday night after playing with the president. I was just stopping by. We had dinner, and then we had some drinks after. So let's stop this little redneck bar, just me and my brother. Let's just pop in. There's going to be nobody in there. Pop in there. Having some fun with the few locals that are in this and there. Apparently, I told a girl she was kind of fat.
Apparently.
She was. Whatever. But somebody, then TMZ contacts, and they're like, somebody got a video. These people that can't do nothing but video everything you do. And they're like, Kid Rock called a girl fat. And I'm like, and I asked my brother, he goes, how you going to handle it? I go, I only have one question for you. Was she fat? And he's like, yeah. I'm like,
Okay.
And I was just being honest. I was like,
Right.
my brother goes, you were actually trying to help her. He's like, because I'm on this huge health kick. And somehow it came up, and I was saying something. She was like, this, that, and the other. And I was like, you are kind of fat. Like, kind of saying it like that. Like, you could, use my program a little bit.
Right.
I was trying to,
Yeah,
I've been saying
yeah.
this to all my friends. I'm actually getting ready to shoot a video on my health program because a lot of my fans, I think, a lot of people in my circle got on board. It really cleaned up a lot of eating habits and started doing things. And I was like, man, they always say you have influence over people.
Yeah.
Never really realized it like that to people
Yeah.
that were close. So I was actually trying to help her. I was like, I don't give a shit about that. Like, the TMZ's like, so Elon showed me this new AI thing. I posted this thing. Did you see that? Yeah. That's just fun.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm just trolling people, having fun.
How much of Elon is a troll? Like I see Grok, and then what is it, insane or something?
No, unhinged.
Unhinged Grok.
It's genius.
It's
And the balls to do that at that level, like no corporate entity.
no.
That
It's
level.
like he's 12. He's the smartest, richest man, and then there are times he's like, I'm just going to screw it. I don't
can
care.
relate.
It's so great. Nobody
is.
does that. Nobody does that.
I think it's that's I get the trolling thing, I get it, but I think it's I would call it more non-conforming.
Yeah.
It's like we're not going to conform to this political correctness. Nobody can take a joke anymore, or somebody hurt my feelings. This, that, and the other. It's gone on it's ruined movies.
I know.
It's ruined comedy shows. I'm a huge comedy fan. I'm like, we're not going to hear Step Brothers again, or like The Hangover. I mean, how funny was the guy pulls up? He's like, paging doctor. You're like, it's hilarious. Like, none of my gay friends got offended.
Right.
None of them cared.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's
Right.
just funny.
Yeah. That's I think why I like the Tesla. What is the truck? Cybertruck.
Yeah, I got one.
Do you? I
love it.
I love it. Everybody says it's ugly, and I'm like, that's I think part of the point. It's completely different.
Wrapped mine is a
not-
General Lee. It looks awesome.
Oh, that's great. That's great. It's just he's not conforming ever.
No.
He's just not doing it.
So he's also pushing the boundaries, but in an unbelievable way. He's changing so many things for the better for so many people. I mean, just making lives better. You know, at the end of the day, that's what it is. You mean to tell me you can't have some fun while you're doing that?
Yeah.
I mean, that to me is when people get too serious and take themselves too serious. It looks miserable.
How concerned are you? Are you up on the AI, artificial general intelligence, or
yeah, that's all I use.
Singularity?
I don't use Google search anymore.
Yeah,
I use AI.
Yeah, Grok.
I am now.
Yeah.
I didn't see that unhinged thing till Sunday. I was like, he literally just took I was using ChatGPT. He literally just took all their users, and they're like, what?
I know.
So I can actually get the info I want, but I can also have some like complete bonkers fun with this.
Yeah.
I'm like, right there, he wins. I'm like, and I invested in Tesla a while back, and I am not the electric car guy. I'm the muscle car, this, that, and the other. My car collection, I'm like, I'd get one, and I like got that thing, and I was like, oh my God, my mind's blown. I told him, I go, I don't think you created the greatest farm truck ever. I doubt you guys, you and your engineers were thinking of this. I'm like, but as someone who has a farm and likes to hunt and likes the outdoors, I'm like, I don't drive my Can-Am anymore, my Polaris. I got a long gun locked in the front. I got my pistol here if I see a skunk or a coyote that we trapped or something. I go, I drive by wild turkeys or deer. There'd be a 10-point buck sitting there. That thing won't even move. It doesn't know what that car is. It makes no noise. It's just sitting there. I'm like, and it goes anywhere. It goes right up and down my mountains, no problem. I'm like, he goes, yeah, we didn't design it for that.
What a surprise.
Never know how someone's going to use new technology.
I know. You have a car collection. What do you have?
I've sold a few. I just sold one. I had a 1930 V16 Cadillac.
Oh,
one of the last few left, but it just sat there for years. So I sold that.
That's what I love.
I got a lot of Dodges.
That's what I love about Leno is they have to be driven. Drive it. I don't
drive.
Oh,
I like to drink beer. So I'm always being driven.
Okay, well that's probably.
I drive to the dentist.
Yeah, that's probably a good thing.
My granddaughter's like dance recitals.
I read that you used to say you are socially liberal and fiscally conservative.
Yep.
Would you still describe yourself as that?
Well, until that transgender stuff came up.
Right.
I was like, these people are just nuts.
So you didn't.
I was like, if I got gay people in my band, everyone's got gay family members, something like this. I don't know what to make of it still, but I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, I really don't care what anybody does.
Right.
Like, don't shove it down our throats. I don't want teaching my grandchildren this. Like, teach them how to write and do arithmetic and stuff. Be socially, conscious and to a certain degree, and want a better world and treat people right. And then it got too far. I'm like, come on, man. It's just, so I'm still socially liberal, I would say. I'm like live and let live to a certain extent. But then it just got too nuts.
Yeah.
You tell me that's not a freaking mental illness? I'm like, all these different things that happen with these shooters and this, that, and the other. Now, there's too many nutty people out there to begin with. Like, Ted Nugent said, and I agree with him, he said that at that dinner, actually, at the White House, he's like, we're talking politics a little bit, and I'm like, I just shut up and eat. Like, I'm not really, self-educated in this where I need to be spouting out stuff right now. What should I do about North Korea? I'm like, but Ted said, we start talking about it, he goes, sir, we need to bring the nut houses back. He goes, remember they got rid of all the nut houses and those people got nowhere to go now, and now they're just running around the streets.
Or in Congress.
Or Congress. True.
It is.
We saw him sitting on that side.
It's amazing to me how bat crap crazy everybody is, and then they have switched places with us. I used to be.
It was not cool to be conservative.
No. It is now. It's starting to be. It's starting to be.
Trump made the party way.
Yeah.
It was button up and this, that, and the other. As someone who made a career out of using four-letter words, pushing the envelope and being a little wild, this, that, and the other, but still had those values from instilled in me growing up. It's completely. The party's changed immensely, as you know.
He still is buttoned up to some degree. When he has to be, he's buttoned up.
Yeah.
When he's just a regular guy. He's not buttoned up, and that's what I want out of a president to some degree. I want, he is so unpredictable. If you don't know him, if you don't get it, he is so damn unpredictable that he's just...
Which the best negotiators are.
Right. He's just running circles around everybody, and everybody's like, this is crazy. Yeah, you know why? Because you're playing the game the old way. It's over. It's over.
I've sold more things off that game for years. Like, the press just can't... Because now it's a point where they have to get clicks and views, to make money and all this stuff. So I just use them for it. I got something to promote. It used to be, okay, we got to go to Europe for this amount of time. We have to spend a week in New York City. We have to go to L.A., blah, blah, blah. Now I just, call Oprah a bad name and say, I got a new record coming out. Everybody knows about it. I'm like, that was easy. Because they're paying, if they would just use the old thing, he'll tire himself out. Just ignore him.
Yeah.
They can't.
No, they can't.
They can't.
They can't.
They can't.
You have no problem letting everybody, the politicians especially, they don't want anybody. They want. I am a small town guy. I grew up in a middle class. If I heard Kamala Harris say middle class family one more time, I was going to hang myself. You're a kind of guy, and I don't think it's different, but I think politicians would. You're like, I don't care. I made a lot of money. Big deal.
American dream.
Right, American dream. But you still have the values. I don't think they understand that it's not the amount of money that you have or anything else. Maybe that changes them, but it doesn't have to change you. You can still be the guy who, like Donald Trump, loves people. He just loves them.
Incredible.
He's got
and wants to be loved.
Right.
What a concept.
And everything is shattering everything that is this bogus plastic, has been bogus plastic world. What does the world look like at the end of 4 years?
Hopefully it looks like President J.D. Vance. Hopefully, to me, that's what it looks like.
Do you travel
I
Europe
I hope we can bring, I really hope we can, I'm actually going to try to unite this country, and I'm starting the end of the month. I'm taking Bill Maher to the White House for dinner. This guy who's done nothing but talk smack about the president since day one. But he's a comedian, too.
Yeah.
And, I can have conversations with him, if you don't get into Trump, because I'm like, I freaking love him.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't. I'm like, let's talk about other things. We can find common ground. He's actually, more reasonable than a lot of people on the right would think.
I think
especially the last maybe 4 years or whatever. So I said to him, I was doing his podcast, and I said, if I could hook you guys up, this, that, and the other. And trust me, there's a lot more people deserving at that table, for dinner. So it's a big deal to me to, bring him there and even have the president be like, yeah, do it. Let's do it. I go, man, what would it say to this country? Let's start at the top where you very public figures, him, television comedian, you president of the free world. We could just break bread, have some laughs, take a picture and be like, hey, we don't agree on everything, but we got along. Does that start to send a message to people, or do they just think I'm an idiot?
Yeah.
Does Bill Maher look soft for going? Does Trump look weak? Like, I'm like, man, I think we just got to start somewhere like there and be like, look, man, we just had dinner. We had some laughs, we had fun. Yeah. Like, maybe call that family member that you got into it over politics, or that person, at the school that, you don't like to talk to anymore that you used to have a coffee with in the morning. Maybe just get back with him and be like, look, man, it's okay. Everybody calm down a little bit.
Anybody that is not pushing that is anybody who is saying, don't talk to your family member.
You've heard the stories.
Yeah. But it's just evil.
Yeah. I had one person do it. One person I could really... Me and Cheryl just got into it over, like, gun control, and we've had some honest conversations about it and things. And then I was just like, it's not... I still love her to death. She's like a sister to me, but it's like... But yeah, she's not first call anymore on the dinner list, on the dinner invite.
Yeah. It's too bad.
And I'm not on hers, I don't believe you.
Yeah. I would.
But I know we can still be cordial and have some laughs in a room.
Are you? Do you travel to Europe very often?
No.
Did you see what happened with J.D. Vance over in Europe a couple weeks ago?
What, a speech?
Yeah.
I saw the speech. Thought it was awesome.
Awesome, right?
Yeah.
Did you see the foreign minister of Germany after it was over?
No.
Openly wept and said, I learned a lot this week after listening to his speech. We no longer have as much as we thought we had in common with the Americans. And I thought,
Get them out.
Yeah, if that's actually what you believe, I don't want to be in NATO. I don't. Why?
I mean,
you're on the other end.
As soon as the red flag went up when it was crying, you're like,
yeah,
beat it.
especially a German.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be tough, stoic, like,
Right.
you know, like we don't laugh at anything.
Right, right. But do we have stuff in common? Do we have enough in common? Because it seems to me that we're in a...
It gets drowned out by the media a lot. Yes,
Yeah,
we all
we're-
have a ton in common, but, you know, they like to keep us polarized in that
Right.
media on all sides, you know,
Yeah.
to be fair.
Yeah.
To be fair, on all sides, a lot more on the left side. But, I mean, everything's become this social media freaking media nightmare. It's just like, there's too much information.
Yeah.
All me and my friends do is send memes to each other. And I love that. That's great. I'm like, I don't want to hear about your trip. I don't want to see it on Facebook or, you know, the tweets or whatever. Like, and then we get together and we golf or we have dinner or whatever. We got something to talk about. We can catch up on old times. I was like, don't text me happy birthday, Merry Christmas, Happy Thanksgiving, Happy 4th of July. If it's really that big of a deal, send me a card. Otherwise, I'm not worried about it. I was like, I just don't need 300 texts coming in like, happy birthday. I'm like, come on, man. It's annoying.
Tell me about the concert coming up this summer.
I'm doing 19 shows, and you know I've usually been like not too big on politics in the show, just trying to entertain people. This is the exact opposite. These are MAGA rallies.
Really?
Yeah, 1,000%. I put together a whole new show. I'm only doing 19. I'm doing 7 arenas, which are going to be a blast. And then I do this Rock the Country Music Festival, which is just no one had ever started a music festival for hardworking people who love this country.
Yeah.
Like,
well, it
that's
used
simple.
to be. I mean,
But now it's got this
Hank
agenda.
Williams, Leonard Skinner, Nickelback. I mean,
Nickelback.
that was for
We do those
hardworking
in
Americans.
very small towns, middle of fields, or public places like these very. I mean, you don't know
Why?
where these towns are.
I know why.
And we did them our first year last year. I have ownership in that, so I really got to help shape and mold it. And it's literally, I mean, our lighting rig out by the soundboard is a cross. Just some really cool stuff. There's thousands of American flags we put up everywhere. It's just to celebrate America, listening to music, and like these people are the greatest people. I don't just say that because they're paying money to come to my stuff. I'm not
No.
that shallow, but I mean, literally, I've heard this from everybody. You can walk through this rock and roll outlaw country crowd with 30,000 people there. But excuse me, you can walk right through to the bathroom, walk back, no static,
Yeah.
no fights. I think we had a couple drunk drivings. Like it was just we have more problems at my honky tonk in Nashville.
Yeah.
I know it's a couple thousand people.
I know. It's we have that with our audience. We did an event in Washington, D.C.
But remember, these people are partying. They're partying hard.
Right.
They're drinking. They got their campers.
Right.
They're carrying on. Usually,
But
when you
they're-
add alcohol to any situation,
Right.
somebody's
Yeah.
going to get into it.
But it's still, there is something about the American that everybody in the media has forgotten. That we generally, I mean, I
and
think.
we felt forgotten.
Yeah. That's why he won in the first place.
Absolutely.
And I think that's why he's doing so well right now. I've never seen a president who said, I'm writing down everything. Remind me, I said
And then I
on
said on the
stage.
campaign trail, and then I'm
Yeah.
just going to start not checking them off in priority order.
Never seen that.
Don't-
Have you ever seen that?
No.
Never seen that.
Talked about that with a million friends too.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah.
It's like he's just checking that
And-
list off like creep, creep, creep.
And that shows, for the first time, a politician who does not forget. He's not using you. He's not coming out and saying, I'm just like you, and I'm going to do
Yeah.
these things, and then you get in and you forget it.
You like my shiny ring?
Right. Right. It's I've never seen anything like it.
And this is the first guy, the first administration that started like, hey, let's look where our money's being spent. I mean, that is bananas.
I know.
Especially supporting politicians through the years, this, that, and the other. I'm like, why Why don't you people look for this? Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, this is it's
But I don't know if we could have done it at least as effectively as Musk can do it because of AI.
true.
I mean, in 3 years from now, the AI we have going over the budget, it's going to be.
Yeah.
We're going to know everything
Even
about these
doing my
politicians.
ticketing thing, I've been doing research for years. Have hired attorneys at certain points, people to get info, this, that, and the other. Sometimes I always don't give it to you in their yearly reports.
Yeah.
This, that, and the other.
Not now.
AI. It's all there.
You worried about art with AI?
Not really.
Do you know
everybody else is?
There's a group that has tested 500,000 songs and ranked them. Out of the top 10, the top 5 are AI songs.
Yeah, we better get better as songwriters.
Yeah. I mean, that's crazy.
Well, the way I figured, I actually met with a young man that and had some other prominent musicians and record heads to have an off-the-record conversation about AI and music. And the app's called Suno. And it's bananas because it's pretty dang good. And
for writing music?
it produces music. See, what Spotify's doing is a lot of their, they have to pay money every time they play one of our songs. They're creating tons of, you put on
That sounds like
a beach playlist that has 100 songs. 20 of those songs might be by some artist you never heard of because AI created it. They don't got to pay anybody.
Wow.
But are they using our stuff to make it? Yeah. But the way I looked at it is I looked at like Napster when that started. Mm-hmm. And I was like, what's going on? And, all the artists were up in arms and the record companies wanted us to get behind. They're pirating music. And I'm like, hold on. Are they stealing from the record companies? Like, stealing from everybody. I'm like, good. I care less. I make all my money live. But now with AI, I'm like, so I'm asking this guy, and I'm like, so I can give you some acapellas of my vocals, and you can model my voice, and then you can put it on your system, and however many people want to write songs for me with my voice can write them. He's like, yep. I'm like,
that's kind of
so
cool.
I could have like 100,000 people writing. Now there's gonna be some funny ones in there, like Kid Rock,
right.
Joe Biden, like blah blah blah.
Right.
Like, I get it.
Right.
I'll laugh at those, but let's say I got 1 million people writing songs for me. If one of those person nails it, and they come up with this, with this life-changing song,
It's great.
I go play it live.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not seeing the evil in here yet. Which
Yeah.
the record companies and managers get all the artists up in arms about. We're not going to stop it. I know that much.
No.
You are not going to stop it.
No.
So it's like, let's figure out how we use it as a new tool the best, like anything else in life.
Who is the influence in your life musically? I mean, you've worked with almost everybody, and you're weird. You break all of the rules. You've rap, country.
Isn't that what rock and roll's supposed to be?
Yeah, it is. But nobody does that. So what was your musical influence?
It was everything. I mean, the real big ones at the top was, my parents' record collection when I was young. That was just all great classic rock and, not real country, more outlaw country music, whether it was, like I said, the Whalens and things like that, the Eagles and stuff like that. Of course, Bob Seger's, religion growing up and still is in my household. So proud to call him a friend. But then when I got into hip hop, that changed everything for me. The early stuff, but it was really like when stuff went mainstream, like Run DMC and everything from that era. And then I didn't figure it out until I was older. I was like, there's literally been, outside if you want to go back to like Celtic music, which created, this and that and the other. But American music is like basically jazz and blues spawned everything. Everything. Until hip hop came along. And once rap came along, it was like, that has its fingerprints on every form of music now since then. So I didn't get to witness the birth of the blues or really, the 50s and 60s and stuff, but I got to witness that. And to me, it kind of has a lot of parallels with blues and jazz, like what hip hop's done. Now, do I like a lot of the new hip hop? No, I don't. I'm more old school hip hop guy, but that's because I'm old. I would assume.
Right. What are the parallels?
That blues and jazz spawned everything up until hip hop. And now hip hop has its fingerprints on everything. I don't care if it's country music, rock and roll music, whatever. There's tinges of hip hop all over it, just like any of those records up until the late 70s or wherever when hip hop started, 80s started coming in. They were all had the touches of jazz and blues on them, whether it was soul music, whether it was rock and roll, whether it was country or whatever.
So were you into that?
What's that?
Blues and
I was. I would listen to those records. I would listen to music all the time. But then when hip hop really came, I started more to emulate it. You know, even though I had that rock and roll, we had a piano and there was an old guitar laying around. I would noodle here and there, and then screwed up my mom's aerobics turntable trying to scratch records. So my parents had no clue what I was doing with any of this. You know, in Romeo, Michigan, there was not.
Right. Did you have the talk with your parents or anybody in your family of this isn't really a career? It's a good little.
My whole life.
Yeah.
I didn't go to college. I barely
Yeah.
made it out of high school. I was so focused on music. Yeah, I was. Well, it was. Can't he just do this as a hobby on the weekends?
I got the same thing. I was doing radio when I was 13 years old, and I got the speeches.
13?
Yeah, I got the speeches from my family, and this is a nice hobby, but it's probably not going to work out for you. I'm like, well,
Sometimes the best motivation, is it
that's
not?
exactly right. Exactly right. It has been great to talk to you.
Great to talk to you.
Thank you for thanks for having the balls to stand up and just be who you are.
Thank you.
And
I get that compliment a lot, and it's one of the best ones I get. That and how wonderful my son is. Those two compliments mean a lot. I love this song. I love this, and this concert was great. But it's like, thanks for having the balls to stand up. It means a lot now, especially where we've come to now. It's been a long journey, and I have a terrific son and grandchildren.
Good. Great talking to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
God bless.